Okay, not hearing any, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley, Wright,
Yes.
Harper, Kyle, Logan, Chick,
Yes.
Hey, Doug, just a quick question. On that animal control, agreement that we just signed, I just noticed that the dollar amount
That's what I was looking
not
at.
on the contract. I didn't know if that's a separate agreement.
I was sitting here double looking at
I was
myself.
gonna do it as we were talking about it, and then we voted. and
The
I
dollar,
put it on there, and then I had to-
okay, the dollar amount will be what we end up putting in the budget.
Which is fine, I just didn't know if it's supposed to be on this contract or not.
Yeah, we'll have to write it in before we get it signed, but that'll be done by the final budget.
All right, well, I was gonna try to ask that, cause I was sitting there going through it, and I couldn't find it either.
Well, I knew it was there until everybody done that, like it's
We hadn't approved the final budget yet.
Okay.
We just approved the agreement, you know what I'm talking about, you know.
agreement will approve the dollar amount when we approve the budget.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, it's on the budget.
It's 104.5 plus there's a couple other line items like animal supply shelters for 500. It's 108.5. So they quarterly check is
Okay, next item of business.
We
is-
might wanna take a break or a second for Mr. Robert Earl. He had to exit a minute.
Okay, we'll take a break here for a few minutes. I knew that wasn't on there, Thomas, but I wanted to go ahead and get the contract.
Yeah.
And Okay, we'll go ahead and resume court. Next item of business is delete from inventory a Wabash truck trailer that was surplus and traded with Bluegrass. They finally transferred that trailer, and I was afraid to take it off insurance till they got it transferred up at Bluegrass. It's back on their junk lot, and we traded it for the trailer that's out there now, and both of them are not roadworthy. Neither one of them.
Both of them are junk, huh?
So we need to take this one off inventory and off insurance now.
Okay, is the other one that's at our place, is it,
It's out of our place.
okay, is it insured or is it,
We never have added it yet. We wanted to make sure everything was worked out before we done it. But we did agree to trade it, and we did trade it. 'Cause this one run roadworthy enough to get it back. So, and we ended up with one about 3 years newer, but no better shape.
I guess liability would be the only thing that, because you're not gonna put it on the road,
No,
it's just a storage.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Downstairs. We did that when we used to meet downstairs,
What's that?
made that trailer swap with Bluegrass.
No, we done it just back in the spring.
We done it,
We got another one back when we used to meet downstairs and swap the trailer, because they said it wasn't roadworthy.
Yeah, I don't remember that, but
Back in the Harold Prince's days. I remember doing that.
This one involved me, so that would've been before.
okay, we need a motion to delete it from inventory.
Now, let me ask a question first. What is this, something just junked out? Is that what you're saying, the trailer was just took out salvage yard?
well, I'll let the judge explain it, go ahead.
Basically, what it was, that we had this trailer on inventory, and what they did, the county bought this trailer to start doing business with Bluegrass Recycling. And what they do, they bring an empty trailer and pick up our trailer. Well, this Wabash trailer was in Lexington. I looked for it for a couple of years, couldn't find the thing. I found another trailer sitting out there. And they finally got back there and found it, recognized it back in their junk lot. And we decided back in, I think it was January, February, wasn't it?
We've already talked about this one before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And, but the trailer that we're deleting today is the one we traded back in January, February. And it, because it couldn't be brought back to Russellville, it wasn't roadworthy. And we ended up, I think this was an 80-some model, we ended up with a 90-some model trailer out there. But we're only using that trailer for storage.
It's just a van trailer. We owned one, and they'd bring one in and pick ours up, and then when this one got full, they'd bring ours in and drop it off. Well, it just got lost in the shuffle, and neither one of them's roadworthy. So, just cleaning up paperwork.
I'll make the motion then.
Okay, got a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, got a second. Now, is there any more questions?
And I guess they're gonna send you paperwork for the one we do have?
We got the title for it.
You got the
Yeah,
title for it,
yeah.
okay. All right.
Yep. Okay, if there's no other questions, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
yes.
Crossley. Yes. Wright,
Yes.
Harper. Yes. Kyle.
Yes.
Bolden,
Yes.
Chick.
Yes. Okay, the last couple of years, we've had to report any leased equipment or any place where we had something leased to somebody else with income coming in. And it's a government accounting standard 87, and we got to make a threshold for that for reporting, just like we did before on, I forgot what it was, we did a threshold of $1,000 on. It was, I tell you what it was for recycle or disposal of any government property that we had to set aside a threshold for. in case we ever did dispose of some of our property. And this is for leases. We got to adopt the amount of threshold. I'm recommending $1,000 for reporting lease disclosures for Logan County Fiscal Court in compliance with the Government Accounting Standard Board Statement number 87, GASB 87. That's something that the accountant just started a year or two ago. But we got to set a threshold. Anything under $1,000, we won't have to report. But we'll have to report everything over 1,000. And y'all should have a record there of the different things that we had to report last year.
And what is it today? What is the threshold today?
We don't have threshold.
We don't
They
have
just started this government, they just started this last year of us having to report all these leases.
So I know that takes her a lot, that takes Karen a lot of time to go
Yeah.
through all them things. Yeah, I think it'd be,
But we need to adopt a threshold for reporting.
okay. I'll make a motion to adopt threshold amount of $1,000 for reporting and lease disclosures in compliance with the Governmental Accounting Standards Board Statement number 87.
Second. And that's yearly, is that?
Yearly.
That's yearly, okay. Second.
Okay, we had a motion and we had a second to set that amount for $1,000 for reporting lease disclosures. And that's paid out or coming in. Is there any question? Okay, let's have roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley. Wright,
Yes.
Harper. Kyle. Bolden. Pick.
Yes. Okay, next item of business, if we got any budget discussions. Thomas, I know at the last court meeting you said something about that licensing and things. And I meant, time slipped up on me this morning, I meant to call Mayor Russell and see about what it took to run that department right now. I wasn't run out of time. Somebody came in the office, told me it was 3 or 4 minutes till. And I thought, well, I better get on up here instead of trying to get hold of the mayor. But, I know you said something about it, you know. Now, we do have a little money in the budget for planning and zoning. If we ever did move forward with something like that, and I guess this is a move, you know, if you're requiring contractors to be licensed and to register and get a building permit for building a house, is what you're talking about more so than anything. You're not talking about farm buildings.
Well, I mean, that's correct, just a contractor license and board and, creating the inspection process as well.
Yes.
Like they have to comply with the city limits, Russellville, Lewisburg, Airedale, and all the incorporated, and all the incorporated cities are doing this, just the county is not. I don't know who Lewisburg, they were there, I don't know who they contract with doing this.
Well, any commercial building anywhere in the county goes through the city of Russell or the state for inspection, according to the size of it.
So what is the question at hand to what to budget for that project? Is that what we're trying to determine?
I'll try to get some numbers next court meeting about, because it's going to put a lot more responsibility on our planning and zoning board as far as, right now, they approve any subdivided properties. That's a little fee, and then, they, don't necessarily do commercial home inspection, but they do commercial building inspections. Either them or the state comes down, it's according to the size of the project. So I get a number, from the Russell City mayor, see what, what it costs right now to run that office. I expect that there has to be another dedicated person toward that. I would think when you talk.
We're still exploring if it's gonna be
I would,
a joint.
but again, my thought process was if we could have all the, all the incorporated cities, mayors present with the county, and everybody just look at their current budget, and again, I'm just making up a scenario, don't rely on any of these numbers, but if the city of Russellville is spending, $50,000 a year in their budget to run, home inspection, building codes, enforcement, whatever you call that. And Auburn's budget is $20,000. Adairsville, Lewisburg's budget is $5,000. My thought is we get together and we pull those resources together and do that under one roof. To encapsulate the whole county, to make sure all the county is properly being served, not just the confines of a geographical area set by incorporated cities, that we're all following the same guidelines, which are set by the state. None of the incorporated cities are making those laws up. They're just enforcing the laws that are set by the state of Kentucky. They're just enforcing them, and we are not. So that's the first process. And the second process would be to create the contractor's licensing board part of it. Again, I would envision that that's done under the same confines of the same office, whether it's, divided up into two or not. But, the contractors are able to come and purchase their, reasonably priced license. And, the goal here is to make sure that they comply with state laws, have workman's comp, if they have employees, and that they have general liability insurance, which protects, the consumers. So if we did that together, I think that would be easier on everybody's budget. I know as a contractor myself, it'd be easier, well, do I gotta go to Russellville to get this, or do I gotta go to Lewisburg to get this? If you did it under one roof, you don't have to go to 4 different places, to purchase that. Most counties, you do that. I mean, if I go to Warren County, I buy something from Warren County, I buy something from the city of Logan County. I would hope to make it a little easier, wasn't it? And just do it one place.
We've got 10,000 budgeted for building inspection services, is that?
We have that for, Judge, correct me if I'm wrong, but every now and then we'll have commercial property that is in the county that we need to send, with the water using building, now I think it's Joe Perry, if I remember his name correctly. We pay for some of the services that we might have to get them to do, and we pay for the city of Russellville. And that's what that 10,000 is for. Am I correct, Judge?
Yes,
But if everything would be under one roof, that would all be consolidated.
That's correct.
So really, what we gotta find out is if everybody wants to be a part of a joint, venture, and if they don't, then it's gonna be a totally different scenario if they do.
That is correct.
So we have to,
A different conversation.
yeah.
And have we not got verbal commitments or talked about it?
We have not, I can only speak for myself, maybe judges had a different conversation, but I've spoken to every one of the mayors, myself, and they all are, hey, yeah, it's great. Now, there's a city or two that's got a few questions, hey, well, what about this, and I'm not sure about that, but as far as, no, that's get a
explore
couple questions on how it works. How does the revenue expense side, obviously a smaller city doesn't wanna pay, 25 or 20% of the total cost to run it, and they're only selling $5,000 worth of permits a year versus a city like Russellville may be selling, I don't know what to say, $100,000 permits a year. I have no idea. So they just wanna make sure they're only proportionally.
Basically, what we'll start out with, I just know this was brought up at the last court meeting. But basically what we'll start out with is a common ground meeting that, they can call up here at Lead, and that allows us to attend, and it also allows, the city and the city commissioners and council to attend, because it's not a meeting that we called. But we can't take no direct action there. We can just talk about the interest in doing this. And we were having that set up, and then all of a sudden we got into this COVID-19 thing. And so we had to kind of back off, from that kind of a meeting. And it'll probably be a few months before we can have a meeting like that.
Well, I mean, if that's what we're limited to, I mean, I think we could probably orchestrate a Zoom meeting or something to where we all could, where they could, Lead could meet, and then somebody from our court, and,
Well, if it's a common ground meeting, everybody can go.
yeah,
It's not a meeting where we take any kind of action.
yeah.
It's just an information meeting, so that's what I'm trying to say about a common ground meeting. Somebody like Lee can call something like a common ground meeting. We used to have them about twice a year, didn't we, Tom? And we just hadn't had one in probably about a year now.
Recycling, I think, was the last one that I remember.
What's that?
The one with the recycling was the last one I remember.
Well, yeah, that and I think we had a common ground meeting with garbage service.
Okay, well, maybe that's the
And
same
then,
one. It was out at the extension office.
Yeah. Anything that affects the whole community, we usually start out with, the cities and the counties, we usually start out with some common ground meetings.
So July 1 is what I think was the set date where you can have up to groups of 50 people meet. So, I mean, anytime after that, if that's still what happens, then I don't know why at the latest do that, if not any earlier.
And we got a little money set aside in contingency in this budget that can be moved, of course, anytime. Okay, is there any more discussion?
Well, whatever we need to do to meet with those mayors to get the process moving, I mean, we've just been talking about this for 6 months now, and it's going to turn into another 6 months. If we need to meet via Zoom, or just even if it's just the mayors for an initial meeting up here, but don't wait until you get everybody present and everybody nods their head and says yes. The train's just not moving, it's just sitting at the station. And, for me to sit there and tell you that all the mayors seem to be agreeable is one thing, but for them to sit in front of the judge is another. Each one has to move the train, and you can't move it until they kind of make some kind of commitment forward. But, this seems like something we can do. I don't know what it takes.
When's the next,
All I can do is sit there and ask for it.
when's the next league meeting?
Well, I can call Tom Harney when we get out of court, get him to go ahead and start the process of setting up a common ground. But we'll have to watch, the size groups and when we can have it.
Yeah.
Usually I depend on, Tom to call the meetings on those common grounds.
I mean, I don't think it's all we do, I don't care who does it. Who calls the meeting?
Well, if one of the cities calls it, or if I call it, then we're bound to have less than 3 of us there. But if somebody else calls it, and we can't take no action as an individual board to discuss this stuff, then, you know, everybody can attend. Okay, is there any more budget discussions?
I want to talk about that request for the, money for future appropriations to, call it what you want to call it, parks and recs or future use, building, developing a park. I think once, I've told y'all for over a year now, it's time to appropriate money that are earmarked specifically for that. I don't have any project in mind, but we've gone through the process of determining what the community wants. We hired Western Kentucky University to do a study. I think it was a very good study. I think it, I don't think it was well represented. We had a lot of turnout. They came and brought us that information, presented it forward. I think it's very good here, but you guys have done it very, in fact, you guys have study. Anybody who doesn't have the study, we'll get it to you. Tyler's got a copy of it. I've got a copy of it here. Sure the judge does, and we'll get it to you. One thing to sit there and say we're gonna do it, but man, we sit there and went through all that process, and it's time to make plans. There's nothing wrong with having plans and setting goals, so that's something to shoot at. It doesn't have to be a specific project at this time, but I think when you show in the budget that you're committing funds for that and do that, then we start seeing things happen. When we just say we have the money, when and if we decide to do something, then we get wary that we don't want to move big money, is what I've seen happen in court, unless it's something like a radio tower that we absolutely need. It's a little harder to sit there and say, hey, I want to take $1 million out of the budget to do this project. That's a little more, man, $1 million. But if we just designated, again, a minimum of $250,000 a year, and, it don't take long, 4 years are behind us, whether it's this court or another court, and we say, hey, there's $1 million in that project, or $500,000 in that project that we can get started on. It's not as painful than say we're gonna take $1 million out of savings. And that's just my opinion on that. I mean, I know the money's there, it's not like it's not already there, but it's time to appropriate those dollars into a specific line.
I'm okay with that, doing something like that, Thomas. I would like to see us, we can appropriate, which we need to, but I would still like to see us have some sort of, I don't know what to call it, but we need some sort of small group or something that's, whether we involve lead or however we do it, we need somebody beating the bushes on finding out what we need to do and how we need to do it in regards to improving parks and recreation in Logan County. I know one thing to do, I think, to start is appropriate the money, but we also need, and I don't know anybody, I'm open for suggestions, but we need some sort of, we can't do it in fiscal court meeting. We can't in fiscal court figure out how we're going to implement better parks and recreation in Logan County. We've got to have, a small group of people that are going to be out beating the bushes, looking for grants, finding an area, talking with contractors or people that plan parks. So
I say we are a small group. to this for 11, but I'm saying we're that small group, this body right here is that small group to start doing that.
Well, I mean, I think, yeah, we are a small group to make it
Whether we
to
do
start.
it just all of us, or
Yeah.
we can do a committee that starts on that, you know, I'm completely fine with either which one, but I don't want to turn that over to the league, nothing against the league, but I don't think the league's spending our money for us. You
No, I
know,
mean, I don't-
The league's got some input.
Input, I'm not talking about that.
Show up, and I sit on the league board, I'm always here, the doors are open, if everyone wants to come and get some input, I get to hearing input from that side of it, you know, and I just wouldn't expect that for Tom to be coming to the door tomorrow, next week, or the board, and I sit on the board, okay? Board is never, ever talking about Logan County doing something with this, ever. I sat on this board 14 years. It has never, I'm telling you, it has never been mentioned. So why would I think they would start mentioning it today? And so therefore, I'm not going to. Now, if they were a board that was interested in that sort of thing, I would say that's a good idea. But they have shown no interest of developing anything like this for Logan. I don't mean that rude, but it's just a statement of fact. Anybody disagree with that? As league has ever come to us and say, hey, we need to improve our amenities and we'd like the court to look at, nor the Chamber of Commerce. Chamber of Commerce has never been over here to say, and these are not critical statements of either one of those boards. Those boards both serve a very important function, and I support them 100% to the point I serve on one of them. But that's just not their primary function. And I don't want to be turning over something as significant as this to a group that has shown zero interest of development.
Yeah, I don't want to turn anything over to anybody. I mean, it needs to come from this body, it needs to come from fiscal court, but it could involve those people.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Involve anybody.
It could
I think
involve,
This is the
yeah.
small group.
yeah.
This is what we're hired to do. This is the taxpayers' money that's been designated for us to be stewards of. And I just don't want to say, okay, we're thinking about spending $1 million and hey, who wants to help us spend it? I do not want to do that.
No, I don't want to do that either. I don't want to do that either, but we,
If we start saying that, you know, all a lot of people that are all planners.
Yeah.
And I think this needs to be forward. I can't say control, that's the wrong word, but we need to be forward that is set up and in. You know, if it's all 7 of us, that's fine. If it's a smaller group, that's fine as well. But we need to start driving that train. And I guess just for me, to show the community that, you know, well, we did the study, and we done nothing with it, you know. I'm just saying, now would be a good time, as we're dealing with the budget, or y'all last year when we talked about the budget, that I want to request this. Now's the time to say that we're committed to that. We don't know what that is today, but we're gonna start putting some significant money towards that line item, that in the future, whether it's 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years in the future, if we know what that project is, then it's just a less painful to our budget that we're not dragging it out of quote unquote savings. We're moving it away and we're earmarking. It's not in contingency, it's not in savings, it's not in special reserves, it's not in the LGE account. It's sitting in its own account every year. You know, we do that for everything else. Everything else has got its own money. Okay? You know, every line item's got its own money. Down at Vinyl Police Cruiser, it's got its own line item. Buying computers, repairs, office maintenance, lease on the copy machine, training, everything has its own line item.
The only hard part that I have about this is, I agree with it, but I don't know that the county's in the entertainment business. If some person comes up here or some city comes up here and says, I've got a good project, do you want to support in it? I'd be willing to do that if the city of Russellville does, or Auburn or whoever. And I'm fixing to get beat up on social media over this, but my goal here is when somebody picks up the phone and calls 911, we have services to do that, and we do a darn good job doing it. Our goal ought to be that, and we have a lot of needs that's fixing to come up, we think, in the future here. We've already heard about radio systems, and we hear about different things. But every person that calls 911, it's to everybody. We're not segregating anybody, segregating anyone out. But we have the police department, we have the jail, we have the med center. You know this. I'm not doing a political thing, but it's just hard for me to say that I want to set money aside for something like this when I don't know that the county's job is entertainment. And that's from my end of the county plus my personal views. But now if City of Russellville, I use them because we're in the center of Russellville, if they come up here and say, I have this project that's going to cost $250,000, I'd like to have some support on that. They're going to run it. They're going to take care of it. Then I'm on board. Or if Mayor Hughes from Auburn comes up here right on the edge of Warren County and he says, hey, I have got this project I'd like to do. I'm on board with it. I just don't want this money to be set aside for every great idea in Logan County to come and want it. Because when you get put under the pressure, first thing you do, you know, everybody sort of puts the pressure on you about my idea is the best. But I agree, but my goal is that we're supposed to serve the citizens of Logan County, every one of them, not a certain few. But that's just my opinion.
Mine's the same thing. I didn't want to disagree with you, Thomas, but I respect to speak up for you did, there's no need to say much more. But I think the same thing. I don't really see we need this as long as we got money somewhere, we can vote on if we want to pay it or not pay it. And that's my opinion.
Look, we've got a line item right here for Logan County Parks. I mean, is that not this?
This is separate. This I think is something
Yeah.
separate.
For incorporating cities and spa, or greenery,
Mhm. This is a different thing, and I know we've done the study, but the study has never really hammered me what we actually need. The studies that we've done, and they've been great, but there's never really said we need this one thing right here. So,
Thomas, I tell you what, I'm for when you get brought it up. And that insurance you talked about last meeting, when you gonna do it.
we're having another health insurance committee meeting Tuesday or Wednesday?
Thursday.
This coming Thursday, so getting some more information,
Okay.
and we'll report it at the next court meeting.
So far, I like that idea.
So we're hoping to have a little better information to present at next court meeting.
So I mean, I think on the Parks and Rec, you know, I've heard from lots of people, and I know all of our districts are different. Our constituents are different.
we are. We live in
And,
different areas.
And so from the spark of people wanting something or talking about something, we did get the study done for parks. And the study showed that people believe, statistically speaking, that we are not providing enough amenities in the Parks and Recreation Department for our citizens, our young families, people that work here but live in Bowling Green or live in Franklin or you know, live in surrounding communities. It's important, not that we want to grow to some big city. We ain't trying to be like Bowling Green. We ain't trying to be like big cities. But when we went on that venture saying, hey, there's been some talk that we may want to do some Parks and Rec things, and so we did the study, and the study showed that people think we have poor amenities, and we even asked what types, and some of those things were better walking trails, and I won't go into all the details of it, but But in the report, you know, it said that better walking trails, maybe, I believe there was we don't have a dog park, and we don't have things that people can go out and enjoy with their families other than just sitting at home or driving to Bowling Green. Not Bowling Green size stuff, but something relative to our community size. And I think, you know, we all agreed to do the study, and the study showed that we need to do something. And I think I personally think it would be irresponsible of us to not move forward, but we need a plan. I mean, I think lack of planning, I do believe this group needs to take care of it. Thomas, what we was talking about a while ago, but we'll keep kicking that can down the road if we depend on us just coming to a fiscal court meeting and talk about what we're going to do next in Parks and Rec. So we have to have, and it could be just some of us, but we have to have somebody, or, you know, we can't do it in fiscal court because we'll forget about it, or it will just stop happening, just kind of like this licensing thing. It's just keep kicked down the road, you know? I mean, this
licensing thing was, put the bid on kind of that COVID-19 note.
yeah.
We'd already,
I mean, I think there's other ways we can.
we'd already planned,
Yeah.
a common ground meeting on that licensing thing.
Yeah. Well, COVID-19 is not going to last forever, and I hope it's going to end sooner than later, but we still have to move forward on things we've talked about, and one of those things is improving our parks and recreation. I don't like, well, I won't say I don't like, but I like that we can help the other incorporated cities with smaller projects, but that's not moving us to where we need to be to offer some new and some better amenities for these younger families, and not just younger families, older families. I mean, if you had nice walking trails that were paved or something, you know, you could have. I've visited some parks, and you wouldn't believe the age range, people just out enjoying themselves, and we don't have that. And it's been talked about for a long, long time, and I'd hate for us to just let it die out. And I agree with you, Barry. I mean, us providing the services that we have to provide, 911, all that stuff is vital. That's just the cost of doing business as a county. You know, we got to provide that regardless.
Yeah, I know, I mean, but I think we do a great, and like I said, the reason I brought that up is because they're gonna say, well, the elected officials don't ever wanna do nothing, or Barry Wright don't wanna do nothing, but the fire departments are very essential, the search and rescue, everything that we're doing right now, everybody says we don't do anything, but on the broad spectrum of it, we do a lot.
Yeah, well, we do. I mean, I think we do.
And,
I'm not
and
saying,
it's for everybody.
yeah.
And,
I'm not saying we don't do a lot, but
we
could improve on just Parks and Rec. I mean, like you said, we do a lot for a lot of different areas, and we are blessed in this county to have all the things that we do have. But, you know, I don't know, it's just something that I feel like that we have lacked on for many years, and people keep crying to me about it, and I know it as, you know, as having a young family and things to do, and it's just something that I'd hate to see us not. We've come this far. I hate to see us say, we did a study, everybody wants it. Well, let's just keep handing out money to the cities and hope they do something really good for the community.
That's why I wanted a project. I want somebody else to man the project. If the Baker areas out here is free to everybody, if they wanted it blacktop, then they come up here and said, hey, we'd like to pay this. Yeah. We have a plan. This is what we want to do with it. Then I can say, okay.
Yeah.
If somebody wants to walk, I mean, I'm okay with that. But just, I don't know. I guess I like to see it first.
I hear you.
Because we get under pressure. If there's money there, someone will come and say, well, you got this money set aside. Why is my idea not good enough?
I guess the difference I'm talking about there on projects, I'm not talking about stopping any of those things you just mentioned.
I know.
You know, if they want to come and ask, if any of the cities want to come and ask for a specific project, I'm fine with that. I'm talking about a significant project. I'm talking about a project of $500,000 or more. I'm talking about developing
about 12 years.
12 years, I mean, it wasn't done overnight, they didn't say, okay, here's $4 million, go build this whole park, they did it in small steps, and they're, I don't know if y'all drive by and see the Mike Buchanan Park, I mean, that sign was up, I know for 4 years before they ever did the first thing, they put a sign up to let the community know that they were moving forward with something, you know, and then they put a road in, and then they put the first building in, and then they did this, and then they did that, it's just a park, they just added to it, I mean, I told y'all about the one in Clarksville, at the, Wilma Rudolph, event center, that's a great park, it's used by everybody, I mean, like I said, all walks of life, that is what I'm talking about, I'm not talking about paving your tennis court, paving your walking trail, adding a swing set to your existing park. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, what our research from WKU brought back about what people wanted and, developing a plan. And I say the first part of developing that plan is putting some money there. Not that somebody sees in our budget, we have 250,000, hey, I'm gonna go up there and ask for 50 of it. They can ask for 50 of it, but it's not coming out of that money. That money is for a future project if we design, and my point is being that if we don't make a plan for it, it just simply doesn't happen. And going back to the other thing, I don't know any, essential services that, we provide on the county level that are underfunded, not one. Now, everybody wants something more, and that is natural. And I respect department heads who, if the sheriff over there wants a new police cruiser or new that, that's his job.
Mhm.
And he puts it in his budget, he makes the request, that proves he's doing his job. He wouldn't be doing his job if he didn't ask for those type of things. But there's nothing, everybody make an argument, we need 10 more antennas somewhere, the response is great, but we should develop a plan and fund that and do it. There's not an essential service we provide that's underfunded, not one. Now, somebody can argue that I don't get enough, but, just, jail's properly funded, all reasonable
I agree.
requests that has come before this court, we've made prudent decisions on those requests, and we have funded all of them that has been reasonably requested. Same with Junior's office, same with the judge's office, same with the road department, same with the sheriff's department. I mean, I don't think we would, to our meetings, to our meetings, the sheriff's department's not riding around in West, say it is, but to our meetings, they're properly funded. I say everything else in the county has its own line item, you can go through the budget and look at all the different ones, and I just say this one should be treated the same. Or we will never do it, or we will simply give it away, if, $5, $10, $20,000 lights at a time. It's not about getting in the parks business, people, it's about supplying our county the ability to grow and a desire for people to be, and we talk about the information that is useful that pertains to this situation that we get from what it is that we do, are stagnant in those offers of amenities, and we are stagnant in our school enrollment for over, going on 20 years now. There's no increase in school enrollment, and so if we don't have an increase in school enrollment, what does that tell you? People simply aren't living, okay? They're living elsewhere. We're doing great on job opportunities, wage earning, our cost of our land and values and our home values, they steadily increase. We're doing great on all of that. We just never work on this. I'm gonna say it's the last piece of the puzzle, but this piece right here is just something that needs to be addressed.
Okay. Just for my thinking here, if the $1 million, okay, we have $1 million project out here, and you just pick whichever one you want. If we got this $1 million thing that we invest in, what's it gonna cost a year to keep it up? The $1 million it's okay. I mean, you spend that $1 million, it won't cost you another dime, but what's it gonna cost a year? How many employees extra is it gonna be? What kind of maintenance is it gonna be? What kind of utilities is it gonna be? And when we do that, that money's gotta come from somewhere. I mean, cause we're talking $1 million project, we gotta have 5 employees, correct? And that's close to $200,000 a year. Plus we gotta turn the lights on. So what's the yearly cost gonna be?
You tell me the project, and I'll start spitting out some guesstimated numbers.
Your crystal ball idea of what you'd like to see, what do you think a yearly cost of it would be?
I would say, I mean, you're not gonna do it in 1 year, but let's just say you do it over 5 years. At the end of the 5 years, that park is built and developed and it's running, and I'm gonna say you're gonna spend, about $175,000 to $225,000 a year maintaining that department. Okay, you gotta mow grass, you know, and again, I'm assuming you're hiring somebody to mow the grass.
Mhm.
You're not using.
Yeah, we gotta hire somebody.
Okay, you're gonna have to buy, you know, a couple of tractors with mowers on, you know, you're gonna have to turn the lights on, and you're gonna have to hire a director, you know, that's your biggest, person, director. You're gonna spend $175 minimum to make, you know, 225, 250 a year.
That's what I was thinking at. $1 million project is gonna cost us another $250,000 a year. It took us a while to get our reserve, so we've got, that money's gotta come, the yearly money's gotta come from somewhere, and that's what scares me a little bit.
You know, and I'm not, 7th grade math, I can do, Barry, you know that.
No.
I'm a 7th grade math person, that's what I like. But you know, actuarially speaking, you know, what you're not taking into account is, what does it mean if there's 10 extra kids enrolled in the school? Okay? Now, that's where my math stops. I don't know how to do that. But what does that mean to Logan County? Does that mean 3 more homes are built in Logan County? Does that mean there's 1 more employee in the Logan County school system? You know, does that mean that there's another car a year sold? You know, people that are smarter than me can answer those questions. I can't.
And that's the unknown, and that's the unknown, I agree.
I just know that you can ask somebody smarter than me can answer that for you and say, you know, hey, if you have 1, 2, 3, 5 more families located in your community, what does that mean to the county cost? Okay? I don't even want to give you a number because I can't. You know, somebody else can. That was a little bit part of the study that was done by the private group, and I don't remember those numbers. They interviewed me for that process, and maybe that's where they gave me the numbers. Is that part of the report? How do you remember?
I don't remember. That was the thing that the small group got together, right? But, yeah,
That was the same chamber sent us.
yeah.
So like this line item that you're talking about, like if the extension office wanted to build an outdoor track, it would cost $500,000 to do it. Like if we were counting, just like we're taking a third of that, would it come out of this?
That's just my short answer. We do whatever we want, but
Yeah.
I would like for us to develop the funds for specific
Parks and Rec.
in the future project, and when and if, whatever the group is, whether it's this group, a subgroup of this group, another group that comes up with a plan with a vision, like Tyler was talking about a while ago.
I think it's part of that here, set up, open up this year when they're
Set
gonna allow them to
that
do it.
up, and hey, this
You
is
know,
what we need, this
it
is
never
the
had really been
area
open.
we need then, and let's.
And there was $2 million spent there.
Develop it and, come up with an architectural plan, rendering, cost figures, you know, that's what I'm talking about. And then that takes 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, and when we get down the road, we're ready to pull the trigger on the project. But those funds have been appropriated, at least we start. I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
Thomas, that's something we should have done some time back, and I agree with you on that. And I feel like it'd be a good thing for us to do. This is a county that's an entity by himself. He needs to be controlled of this county. And if you make the motion, I'll second.
We'll need to make it part of the discussion of the budget, and, but, no, I want to be real clear about that. I do not want to set that up and have every good idea come to this court to nibble away at the funds that we've appropriated.
No, this county, this court needs to control it.
Yeah, you know, I mean, if y'all want to fund those things, I'm not against it. Like that, I'm going to be, I'm for it, you know, but not to be diddling away at this appropriation. It should come out of your contingency, your existing parks, the money for your existing parks and rec.
I need to check with the Office of Local Government, to see if we can do this and how we do it first.
Are we what?
I know you can do it because there's, Warren County does it, they've done it for years, they have an appropriation for the, they have an appropriation for the Mike Buchanan Park for many, many years. And so when they got started on that project, there was appropriations for it, and then they went and borrowed money. I mean, they went and borrowed $34 million to do this last thing that they're doing right now.
Has anybody here been over to Springfield and just been in that area around the fairgrounds over there, for their park that they've got? It's nice. Really nice. But then,
And I know we're a lot more conservative than some of our surrounding communities. That's the reason I'm completely fine doing it in small steps. You know, if we could find a location, if we purchase it, we develop a plan, what it's going to be, where it's going to be.
Yeah,
I do not like the time when people say we're in the entertainment business. I'm totally against that time. That is not what my intention is to entertain people. That's just not, it's just all part of what a community desires to be healthy, to grow, communicate with one another. You know, we need these type of events, whether it's a concert venue, whether it's a, like I said, what we just strongly encourage everybody goes to the Wilma Rudolph Event Center in Clarksville. I mean, take an hour of your time to spend at that park and just walk. Just walk one time, and you'll get a general concept. You know, now I do not know how they built that. We get a hold of the judge there in Clarksville. I don't think that's in the city limits, but anyhow, doesn't matter. Or you could go to Keefer White Park in Boulder. Same thing, that was developed over 10 or 12 years. Go to Mike Buchanan. Mike Buchanan's park's got to be at least 10 years old now from the time I first saw the sign. But now I saw the sign three years before, 3 or 4 years before I ever saw the first thing that was done there. So, they're still working on that park. I think the last time I talked to a couple of the magistrates, Tyler and I met one of the guys, and they said that they were fixing to build an event building, right?
that's right.
Okay, that's what I thought. So, and then, they're wanting to do another, so that would be the fourth one, that they do another one, but for sure they're doing one. But anyhow,
So I think, quality of life, when we look at our county, quality of life, just think of it as a big circle. Our essentials are in there, our 911 services, our ambulance services, even our humane society. The things that we provide for our community is in that circle of quality of life. And one thing we've lacked is just some parks and recreation or something more for the families to do. When I think of entertainment, I think of more so if we opened a drive-in movie theater or, we talked about, somebody came and talked about a golf course. I would not want us getting in that business. That, to me, is more of a, I don't know, I would think that more as entertainment, I guess, but we've never taken that step into doing something more in the Parks and Rec, and for us to move forward with what people have told us they want, we have to take that step. Otherwise, we're gonna keep kicking that can down the road. And I know, like we talked about before, everybody's district is different, and Barry represents different people that I represent. And everybody in here, that's just the way it's made up, but.
Well, we have taken that step since Ben Thomas been on court. I mean, we're providing the city of Russellville 25,000, each one of the small towns 8,000 that they wasn't getting years ago.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for that money, I know that money's been used for grant matches, it's been used for improvements. You take Hampton Park down there, just last year, they spent a bunch of it down there on Hampton Park, and we bought new basketball goals down there.
Yeah.
It's not like we've been sitting there not doing anything, because we've been putting,
I think the city of Russellville's last request was fixing a door and then fixing a fence and, some of that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I think that, that money has been useful to them. I think it needs to continue to be useful to them. I'm not
And-
saying that we stop doing that at all.
yeah. And then, this other park out here, the way I've understood, is scheduled to open just as soon as it can, this new park. And it's been sitting there for years. There's been over, probably close to $2 million spent on that park,
You talking about next to the fire?
next to the fire department.
Well, we've had soccer games and stuff there. They open it for that, but
Hmm.
my kids have had soccer games and stuff out there. They got a little place set and soccer fields.
Right here. By the McDonald's.
Back by McDonald's and the Armory.
Did
And
the
you,
county contribute any on that?
the city does that, I think.
That came from the settlement with Rockwell,
$1.7 or something like that came from that.
all with Brown from Governor Fletcher settled that with,
And that's a very pretty park, but you just said it, $1 million.
Well, it was $1.7 million, I think, that they received.
$1.7 million.
And then, of course, City of Russellville been trying to get it finished up the last few years.
Yeah, I think that park had a rough start, didn't it? With I don't want to speculate.
cerebral problem.
I know turf.
I know we need to do
I know the
something.
current administration inherited that problem.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're working through that.
We definitely need to do something, but and I like
Well,
the
spend a
idea.
lot of money.
I like your idea of setting aside money. But what scares me is, like Barry said, it's the ongoing, the rest of our lives of other people maintenance to it. Whether we can get out of anything.
I remember a lot of things about it, say it's going to generate money and not cost you anything. It's not true, it is. Just like, our jail budget, just like our sheriff's budget, just like our 911 center budget. I've never been on board to see a year that they've gone down. We pay people more money, we add new equipment, we have more people in detention. It's just the nature of life, and we properly fund that because those are essential services, and public health and safety is number one when it comes to government. I will be first with that, and I've worked 14 years to make sure that is made essential. Our ambulance service, we make sure that they have what they need to be a plus operation. And I think we do a good job with that. I don't think we should stop at that. And I think people expect more than just to have a good jail, good sheriff, and good ambulance service. Now, if I'm talking loud, people keep sending me texts and saying they can't hear me. So, I'm sorry, I'm not yelling because I'm upset.
I don't know if I've been bashed yet or not.
I got a text that said, I can't hear a word you're saying.
Yeah.
So,
There's no-
it's a young guy
there's no-
too, so
there's no
it's
mic
Nathan
on here.
Gospel. Nathan says he can't hear me, so.
Yeah, there's no mic on your table. We need to get
So
one
I
of those.
apologize, I turned my volume up a little bit, and I'm not mad, I'm just trying to get the people on the internet able to hear. And it's business, I still want that appropriated, that's my request when you're looking at the budget, those are the two things that
Okay, any other discussions?
So as far as the budget goes and any more changes we want to recommend, is that something we need to do now, or we want to do that during that special call meeting? Wanna have
We,
further discussion at that special call meeting?
I want a good understanding from my office of local government before we appropriate any money. Just
Okay.
be sitting, somewhere.
I will say that, and that's just, most of this is because the guys that are doing this they care about our community and they don't say a whole lot. But our emergency service people, right now, they have a set amount they get paid. And every year we give them a, percentage increase. But that amount is, it's a lower amount, but it's a part-time deal. But when we add the percentage, it doesn't add very much. But anyway, I think that right now they're putting in so many hours that we don't realize, going back and forth, getting PPE and stuff like that, that they're working way more hours, I think, than what they are compensated on a yearly basis from us. I think it's something we need to look at, whether it's during a crisis they get a extra compensation for the extra time they put in, or something. I just feel like they're doing a lot for little right now. It's just my personal opinion. And if anybody has any.
It's emergency management, so you're talking.
Yeah, I'm sorry, emergency management, yeah. Emergency management, we have two guys, and they're putting in lots of hours right now, and I think when things aren't crazy like right now, it's different, but right now they're putting in way more time than I think they're getting compensated for. So,
What was it right now, 400 and 600, and then we did the 3%, is that what it is?
something like that,
Judge, does the state they pay half of emergency management salary? Or some portion of it?
It's according to what you do with it.
Gotcha. Where's that at?
What's that?
Where's it at?
Oh, in the budget.
It should be in the general fund.
Write extra copy if you want it. No.
I'm still looking. Jason, you fin, I'm still in appropriations.
Okay, it's on page 4 of 13.
I'm almost there.
Of course, both these guys are part-time and already working full-time, and they've got to do what they do at their full-time work. And the salary was $81.21 for the director and $49.63 for the assistant. It's DES here instead of emergency management.
Yeah, okay. Department of Emergency Services. you know, and being that it is part-time, I understand that. But since we've started, you know, if we do a CPI every year on that small amount, it doesn't get very far over, you take over a period of 15 years, you know. And I know we voted on that a couple meetings ago, and I apologize for not recognizing it at that time. But I don't know, I just feel like the guys that are doing this are not, they just love their community, they love doing this thing, but I don't think they're outspoken about it, and I don't know, I just feel like we're undercutting them a little bit on the compensation. So it's my personal opinion. If nobody wants to take any action on making it a little more or doing some sort of crisis stipend or something, I don't know, but they're putting in a lot of hours right now. I know.
I agree with you, Tyler. They do a tremendous amount of work. I mean, they're in the office every day.
They're not,
Meetings, or, you know, and that's just what we're dealing with. And I think in the middle of that, we probably have 3 missing persons. You know, they're out on that. They have to coordinate the rescue searches on that, stuff like that. Some guys, I mean, honestly, they treat it like a full-time job.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the hours they put into it.
I'm fine with raising it or however you, whatever, I mean, I'd listen to suggestions.
Well, you can't do anything the next year. The budget thing.
Until when?
When we plan the budget,
Tyler's talking about, he's talking about making change to this budget, correct?
right.
Yeah.
The judge just said the director gets paid $81.20 a year, and the assistant director gets paid $49.63. That's what's set for next year's budget. Let's see. I mean,
I know their supplies and stuff, I mean, they lost their fundraiser and, I mean, for the whole organization, not just
As a
them
whole,
two. I mean,
yeah.
you know,
yeah.
what they buy supplies and stuff on was cut out. And I don't know, I'd like to know there was a way that there was some funds in here for something for them, you know?
Well, like,
Maybe not in salary, but compensation for utility or some, equipment or something.
yeah, well, like the judge said, or Jason asked, I think the state does reimburse on half of a lot of the stuff.
but it's gotta be pre-planned.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's
Yeah.
just not,
Okay.
it's just not you spend it and you get it.
Right, but it's in our budget as a whole,
Yeah,
and then I guess under revenue would be
Yeah.
something,
they pay part of it back.
Yeah. So I don't know, I just felt like I needed to bring that up, and I don't know if anybody, you know, I'm just looking for suggestions, or if anybody would agree with me. If you don't, then we just won't do anything with it, but, I just feel like we're not being fair on that totally. I mean, I'm not saying increase it by a great deal. I'm just, you know, for the extra time they put in, just a little more showing of appreciation of it, so. And like Steve said, I think they probably, I know it's a part-time gig, but they treat it more like a full-time gig. It's definitely right now.
I mean, I throw this out there, I think it should be a full-time position to begin with, as much as that there is to do that. There's a lot that they do. If we, you know, we plan on doing some training this summer to schools, they're gonna be part of that. So, I mean, they would help coordinate that as an emergency manager. You know, tornadoes, floods, fires, all of that. They like to put together more training, but it's, you know, they work full-time
mean, that's any disaster that we have to deal with. You know, it has to go through their office, they have to fill out paperwork out in the track, and a lot of man hours get put into making sure that the county gets reimbursed. Stuff that the county would have to burden that cost if it wasn't for them to do. Any suggestions on what to move that up to, or? I feel like, seems like definitely outside support on agreeance.
You brought it up, I mean, you could come back with a recommendation.
Next, okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Everybody all the time.
Think about it.
And tell me again when this budget meeting is.
June 2nd?
Next Tuesday, right?
Special call meeting will be the 22nd, I mean the 2nd. But now we can't discuss anything except what's on the
And that's
agenda.
gonna be the budget.
Huh?
And that's gonna be the
I don't think
budget.
it's insurance and
No, it's
Salary
for
schedule.
insurance
salary schedule.
and then the salary schedule.
Can we not put the budget on it?
Are you calling a special call meeting for the budget? Or no?
Well, we can.
Or do y'all want, I mean, it doesn't matter to me, we can sit here and do it now, but.
Yeah,
I mean, we think the 2 or 3 things that we talked about, so I mean, we can do it now.
I think there'd be some thought put into it, and we'll have another regular meeting on, what is it, the 11th or the 12th? The second Tuesday.
Be the 9th, wouldn't it? If the other one's the second, it'd be the 9th. Yeah,
So
June.
you come back with a recommendation on the 9th, that's what we can.
okay. That's fine with me.
Okay, then the first reading, and then we'll have the second reading right at the 23rd then, before the new
22nd.
budget starts.
22nd, we changed that court meeting to the 22nd.
Oh, okay,
So
22nd.
can we add that to next Tuesday's agenda, that we discuss the budget a little more, or? I mean, I know special calls.
Yeah, because of the election.
And
I
then we can
remember
have
that.
the first reading on the 22nd.
Yeah. Final discussion on the budget, talk about the salary schedule and talk about the insurance and get all that. Cause that's really extra, that's extra stuff that it's hard to do all in one court meeting, so I mean, it'll be a full day, but, and we don't have to do it in the morning, whatever, but. Okay. Can we discuss that on June 2nd too, Judge?
We can discuss it Tuesday,
Okay.
if I put it on the agenda,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Well, that sounds good.
The budget, insurance,
Budget,
salary,
insurance,
salary schedule. Okay.
And the reason why we're holding up, they're working on the job descriptions to get all them lined out. We want to do it all at once. So,
Under the road fund, are you done?
yeah,
Under the road fund, the surface asphalt, 7 million, is that the road money that will be?
Well, I put the same figure up we had last year, but that's gonna leave about $600,000 to divide up with what you got left over. And, you know, and we're gonna be fighting a few months of income, you know, where we're gonna lose some income, you know, in occupational tax. But that'd be, that's the court's decision, it's y'all's budget now. But, every one of you got a little carryover money, and then whatever you spent, you know, will be redistributed.
It's your percentage.
Mine's like 8 point something.
Whatever number you end up passing, just multiply it by your, percentage that you get.
I can, come up with, what it would be. We could carry over and everything. But, you know, we, just a few weeks ago, we signed that second agreement that cut us another $140-some thousand, I think, on, road dollars coming in this year. Okay, anything else? So next, week's special call meeting, it'll be, y'all wanna talk about, the insurance, group insurance, the job descriptions, and, the salary schedule,
In the budget.
and the budget.
Is Kelly gonna be here?
Yeah,
Okay. So we'll make it Thursday and he's coming.
yeah. Okay, is there anything else? Well, we got a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to adjourn, and, we need to have a roll call.
Davenport,
Yes.
Crossley. Wright,
Yes.
Harper.
Yes.
Kyle.
Yes.
Bolden. Chick.
Yes.